Welcome back to Reflect. I'm Toria.
And I'm Tarja.
Today we'll be reviewing the movie Girl in the Basement. This movie was also based on a true story of Elizabeth Frizzle. Hopefully I'm saying her last name right. A trigger warning for everyone watching. The movie does have sexual assault and abuse. So
we maybe say some words or phrases that,
could be triggering.
Yeah, so just be aware of that when we reviewing the movie.
So, Girl in the Basement, the movie begins with a woman and a man rushing to drive a young girl to the hospital who is experiencing difficult breathing. So, we see the girl in the backseat with another younger girl, and then a man is driving the car.
So, this is kind of like a setup, like, oh, this must be at the end or middle or something. Like, it's not the true beginning
of the movie.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And we then flash back 20 years ago. Where the same family, minus the little girl from the beginning, is sitting at a dinner table arguing over the fact that the teen wants to go to a party.
So, kind of like a little rebellious teen in high school. That's what it seemed like the
premise is.
Yeah,
we later see her, which we now know the name is Sarah. And so Sarah, she sneaks out the house with her boyfriend Chris on his motorcycle. And anyways, despite her parents telling her no, that she couldn't go to the party earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The next morning, the dad sees them come back. So she riding back with Chris on the back of the motorcycle, just strolling up.
As if nothing wrong. Like, even though her parents tell her not to go out. So how many of you snuck out of the house and your parents tell you not to go out?
And plus,
you get caught. You did get caught. Come on now.
So he soon yell at her. Soon she hit the porch. And then he grabs her by her shoulders, yelling, "You're in my house, so you're going to follow my rules." And that's when we learn how controlling he seemed, like an a-hole.
And strict, like the way he was yelling and stuff. He just seemed like, really strict and controlling.
Later on, the scene switched to Sarah and one of her friends came over. They sitting on the bed, and she basically talking to this friend about traveling across the country. And the dad, he's being sneaky all in the hallway, overhears this.
Mm-hmm. So she because she graduated, Sarah, I guess, and after she graduated, she want to go travel. That's her plans for after her ceremony and stuff. And the dad, he definitely was not happy about that because he was overhearing the little conversation.
And so he goes downstairs that's when we see a hidden room in the basement behind some shelves.
Yeah, so he goes in the basement. And it's like this, I don't know, like a bookshelf it looked like or something. And
or maybe he put tools on.
Yeah, or something like that. And then you see, this hidden room behind the little shelf.
Yeah, which is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
So then we see another flash forward, which 3 months passed, and we see Sarah on the porch laughing at her boyfriend that we assume is her boyfriend. She giggling. I think she even said his name, Chris.
Yeah.
Her mom leaves at this point, and we see the dad lure Sarah in the basement by asking her to help put a bin in the hidden room, which we learn is also considered a bomb shelter.
Yeah. Kind of like a bomb shelter, panic room, so something like that.
Then he traps her in, and once in the room, Sarah sees the bin have clothes and blankets, and we see the panic on her face because he hurry up and run out the hidden room and just leave Sarah in that hidden room.
So he basically shut the door. It's like a little keypad on the side of the door, so he has a code to get in. Inside the room, but she doesn't know it, and he just lock her in.
She then yells for her mom and dad, and through a vent that's in the room, and so to muffle the screams, the dad puts a blanket over the vent. Mm-hmm. And then later that night, the mom is concerned on where her daughter is, which is Sarah,
mm-hmm.
which she assumes is with her boyfriend, because in the beginning she was hanging out with him a lot. So in the basement, the dad comes to the basement later that day, and Sarah tries to escape, but he slaps her, and then that's when we get the first sexual assault scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically, slapped her across her face, and then that's when we see him rape her.
Yeah, so the room is kind of like I think was even a bed in there at this time at the beginning of the movie. I don't think he had nothing, just that bed with the,
clothes and blankets.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And so, when he, came up to her to try to, was talking to her and stuff, she tried to, get out and stuff. Then the scene switched to the parents talking to a cop because they're concerned about Sarah. And the cops tell them the situation will work itself out in terms of Sarah being missing. What cops say that? You worry about your daughter. About it.
Yeah, you worry about your daughter just gone, and you should be concerned, and you call the cops, and they just say the situation will work itself out.
Right, and then I'm pretty sure they questioned Chris, the boyfriend, too, and he wasn't with her, so...
Exactly. And then the dad tries to tell the cop that Sarah wanted to travel, insinuating that that's what she's doing. Maybe she ran off.
Yeah, why would she just all of a sudden just run off? Not say bye to the mom. She also has a sister, too. I think we forgot to mention that she got a sister.
Yeah, a younger
Sarah.
sister.
Yeah,
named Amy.
Yeah. And so why would she just leave without saying bye to any of them?
Right. And then I want to say the dad, his name is Don, just in case you mention it. And the mom name, I think it's Irene.
Yeah, something like that.
And then so we see another flash forward in the movie, and then 7 days later have passed, and Sarah is still in the basement. At this point, she's looking weak, bruises on her face, and she laying down on the ground. She reflects on her time she spent with Chris, and then that's when we see another scene where Chris, the boyfriend, actually come visit
to try to find out what happened to Sarah.
Yeah, and then that's when the dad, he makes up a lie saying that Sarah left with a guy named Steve. I guess the best friend since grade school, and they went to Florida together.
Yeah, so basically trying to cover up just so Chris could stop questioning what happened to Sarah.
Yeah, and I don't get why would Chris as the boyfriend would believe this. Like, I'm pretty sure Sarah, which we haven't seen throughout the movie, say anything about a Steve guy.
Right, or... And then when we see with her and Chris and stuff, they look like all, sweethearts, high school sweethearts type of thing. So why would she just do that?
Yeah.
And he just believe it.
Now we are at day 21, and it's Sarah's birthday, which the dad gives her a dress to wear and a measly looking cake.
Yeah, he gave, ugh. It was so gross.
Yes.
He was.
And then that's when he tells her to call him Don by his name.
Yes, at this point, it's kind of like he dissociating that he her dad. It's like he's just like, oh, you my prisoner. I got full control over you, he doesn't see her as his daughter at this point. It seemed like to me.
Yeah, and then that's when he asked her to pick something out since it's her birthday, and she wanted a TV, but instead was given a clock.
Yeah, because she said she wanted the TV and stuff just to see people or and then he tells him no, because I don't know why he didn't want her to have a TV for some reason.
I would see it more as another controlling thing, like you want this, so I ain't gonna give it to you.
So she just said can I just have a clock so I can know the time while she's in that basement? Because the movie, just let you know, the movie is going based on days, and then it eventually go to years and stuff. So we now at day 38, and we see Sarah with a can of tuna. She this time she took the lid off the tuna can just to make it like a makeshift knife. Yeah, like a weapon.
And Don, he comes down the stairs into the room, and he sees this, and then he tosses her around the room, saying this is what you do to ungrateful girls. So again, another abusive scene. And that's when
but I would say at least she did try to make a weapon.
Yeah,
the thing is though, when she was trying to hide it behind her, he seen it when she was trying to she tried to go after him, but he was more powerful than her. Stronger, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and he also sexually assaulted her again, which was like a traumatic scene in the movie. And then that's when day 354 rolls around.
So they jump way forward in the movie.
And she's still in this basement. Just so sickening to know that she's still in the basement. She looks so rough. And we see
Sarah. And mind you, they don't have any sunlight. She don't get in the sunlight. I'm pretty sure she get her bare minimum of food.
Water,
yeah. I'm pretty sure she keep wearing the same thing. Just imagine
tragic. So tragic.
I can't even imagine.
And we see Sarah, she actually pregnant, and she going into labor and having a baby in the basement, and she named this baby Marie. So that's when we see the first daughter being born by Dawn. And when the dad finds out, he tells her, "You're welcome," because it will give her a sense of purpose.
Yeah, no connection to nothing. Just gonna give you a sense of responsibility. This was a good thing. Come on now.
Yeah, so trash. And I think we didn't mention Sarah. Her age is 18. I think this was her 18th birthday.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was her 18th birthday, And so we skip to 4 years later, and we see Sarah pregnant again. And Sarah is asked to be let out, of course, and he doesn't. And we also see that it's Christmas time during the scene.
Yeah, so in that scene, they have a tree. That's how we can tell it's kind of like Christmas. We see she have a bed. The daughter is with her. She kind of a little bit older now. And yeah, she is, we just mentioned before that she is pregnant at this time too.
So the dad's sister with the younger sister, Amy, which we mentioned that Sarah had a younger sister, and the mom at the dinner table, and the mom
so he kind of leave the basement when he visited her in the basement. Yeah, kind of the scene switched to him being in the kitchen, right, with the mom and the younger sister. Yeah, the younger sister. And
so that's what she suggests. The mom actually suggests they hire a PI, a private investigator, to look for Sarah. And of course, the dad refuses because the excuse he made was because of money.
Yeah, we don't have the money. Come on now, if it was your kid and they went missing, you would put anything you can just try to find her.
Yes, 4 years later. Right. You have no letter from her. She haven't showed up on your doorstep. Nobody ever mentioned Sarah, friends, other family relatives, or anything like that. So you would go out just to look for her.
Right, and your excuse, we don't have the money to hire a private investigator.
Yeah, and
that should be so suspicious.
Yes, that'd be a big red flag to me.
Mm-hmm.
So Don then goes downstairs to get them a TV, a Christmas present.
Yeah, I guess he finally eventually wanted to give them a TV.
Yeah, and then 7 years have passed, and we see that the daughter Marie is sick and needs a doctor. But Don only gives the daughter some Tylenol.
Yeah, like she had like a fever. Like he didn't even. I wonder how she dealt with any other like illness. I don't know if this is the first illness of Sarah or the daughter, but yeah, he just gave her some Tylenol. Like, that was gonna fix every problem.
And then that's when we also learned that Sarah had a baby boy, which she named Michael.
Mm-hmm.
The scene switches to Chris and the younger sister having a conversation about Sarah, and the only one we see so far is suspicious of the dad doing something to her.
Yeah, it's like Amy. She questioned that the dad may have been involved when she was talking to Chris. That's Sarah's boyfriend, I guess.
Yeah, and we also see that Sarah is pregnant again,
mm-hmm.
and we see a confrontation in the living room later on that day, and that's when the mom finds out that the dad lied to Chris remember in the beginning when the dad lied and said that Sarah went out with a childhood friend.
Yeah. So I guess Chris told Amy that. Amy, I'm guessing, told the mom, and the mom confronted the dad about it.
And she also brings up hiring the PI again. And the sister also accuses Don of him doing something to Sarah. And that's the only person that actually confronted Don. But I think after this argument, like nothing else further went on with that.
Yeah, in terms of the scene. The scene kind of switched, right?
Yeah, in the basement, because the scene switched in the basement again, and we see Sarah giving birth at the same time. The sister, and during the time that Sarah giving birth, we see Amy upstairs about to go downstairs in the basement.
Yeah, she kind of goes to the shelf where Sarah's being hidden at.
Yes.
But the dad comes down,
hurries up,
and stop her from going. Yeah, stop her snooping. So she almost was able to discover the room.
Yeah, and then the scene switched to next morning where Sarah suggests Don take the baby upstairs. We learned they named him Thomas.
Yeah, so we found out that this her third child, and she named Thomas. But I'm imagine having given birth by yourself with no anesthesia,
anesthetic,
nothing, whatever they have what's it called?
Anesthetic and stuff. It's so much pain, and you just have, and then you have to always also deal with the abuse, the sexual and physical abuse you're dealing with,
mm-hmm.
and you got 2 other kids. Well, yeah, so you having 3 kids at this point, and it's just
you're not
so
healthy or anything, and you giving birth. That's crazy.
I've had it so painful.
Mm-hmm.
And then so Don, he forced her to write a letter stating that she was staying with a boyfriend, and she could not take care of the boy.
So she's managed to get one of her kids up into the house, which is Thomas.
And we later see the baby on the family porch in a basket where the mom, Irene, read this letter. We also see another letter that Don grabbed from the baby basket, where she states being, and in this letter, Don, he read it out, and it stated that Sarah was actually being captive in the basement. And of course,
so she tried to, under the baby, she tried to hide a note to try to
get to her mom.
Have some help. But Don, of course, discovered it.
Yeah,
I was so annoyed.
I was so annoyed with that too. I'm like, man. And so we fast forward again, and we see the kids are teens now, and Sarah pregnant with a 4th child. And then 17 years go by, and a thunderstorm caused the basement to leak, and Sarah sees this as an opportunity to dig her way out. So
kind of see the rain coming from the roof or something?
Yeah, the roof.
She's seen that. So,
and she started picking at it, and then a neighbor walks past outside and see a light flickering from the basement, and he goes up to the family where Don,
the door. He knocks on the door and say, I see a light flashing in your yard.
Yeah, in your basement. I think he's seen it through a window.
Yeah. And he's questioning, why is that light going?
Yeah, and so Don, he of course knew that it was Sarah that was doing something. So he goes downstairs and kicks Sarah in the stomach, which resulted in her losing a baby.
So I'm my gosh. This was her 4th pregnancy. But
the baby died.
Yeah, she
passed away.
Yeah, she had a miscarriage
because of the abuse. I was so mad at him at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, I was he's such a horrible, trash human being. So you're 18. This is when the kids asked to be let out of the basement. And of course, Don, he put the blame on Sarah on why they stuck there.
They're sitting there a dinner, a table, because he had a table at this point in the basement. And he was sitting there telling them like, it's your mom the reason why you're not out of this basement. So the kids, of course, like, it's older now, so they more like, I don't know what they like, teens, because you can't really tell because it kind of studying their growth being in the basement.
Yeah, yep, that's true. And so when Don leaves, that's when the kids put the blame on the mom, and so they kind of like have a screaming match back and forth. And then once they calm down, she tells the children the truth at this point, that Don is their grandfather and he trapped them downstairs.
Yeah, because the kids, they didn't have any understanding when they was like yelling at Sarah, saying, this is your fault while we in here and stuff. So I thought that was a sad moment. And then she like so stressed, she became overwhelmed, and they had like, yeah. So she just finally told them, just to let them know.
And they thought that, which I didn't even, at this point in the movie, I never even thought what the kids thought when they was in the basement for. And I guess Don, he had told them that Sarah and him was married, and how they was staying in like the basement of an auntie house, aka Sarah's mom house. And so year 19 passed, and see that Don lost his job, and we see a foreclosed letter on his desk. So we was thinking, so how Don, if they get foreclosed on this house, what's gonna happen to Sarah and the kids?
How is he gonna do that?
And so that's when we see that Don decides to try to kill them with carbon monoxide poisoning.
So he kind of like leave a car open, like, so he had like this hose through the vent of the basement into the car in the garage to try to, poison them basically, so they could die.
Sorry
about the triggering words.
And then that's when we see that Thomas, remember the boy that was left on the porch, and now the mom raising Thomas, and we see him left on the one that was left on the doorstep. So we see them like basically come into the garage when then Don was doing this, setting up the carbon monoxide poisoning, and this in turn stopped Don from basically poisoning Sarah and the kids.
So
so it basically saved Sarah's life and basically his siblings' life downstairs.
Then, when we see Thomas, he looked way older than the two siblings in the basement. Mind you, they was older, like Maria and Michael. They were supposed to be older than Thomas, but they looked younger than him.
And so the scene switches to the family having a barbecue outside, so I'm guessing the days went past. We now return to the beginning of the movie where the young girl Marie is having an asthma attack in the basement. And Sarah, she convinced Don to basically let her and the daughter go outside. And this will be their first time in years going out. And remember, it's like year 19 at this point. So they rush to the hospital, which I said at the beginning. We see they go to the hospital, fill out like paperwork, and Sarah decides to spill water because it's like she's trying to come up with a plan basically to escape Don.
Right, because there's like nurses around. We see a security guard around, and so while Maria's in the hospital room. Sarah, she's sitting there in the waiting room with Don, and they have to fill out these forms, standard forms you have to fill out at the hospital.
And that's when she decided to spill some water. So to separate herself from Don. And so he leaves, and that's when she
leaves to get more new forms since she placed wasted water on it.
And then so he leaves, and that's when we see the opportunity. She sees the opportunity to get help by tracking down the doctor who is taking care of her daughter. So Sarah runs into the doctor's arms, stating she needs help. So we see her rushing in the hallway.
And Johnny does see this, but she was managed to get to the nurse it was his kindergarten or cop right there too that the nurse was talking to, and she managed to get there and tell them that she needed help.
So then that's when we see that the police didn't arrest Dawn. The other kids are being lifted out the gurney out the house, and we see Irene, the mom, looking on the porch, devastated that this was happening in her basement, along with Thomas. I'm like, I don't know. Can you blame the Irene at this point that you
like the mom, like nobody knew, like.
I don't know how to say what to say about that. Maybe you guys share your thoughts on would you be mad at the mom or the sister? Like nobody knowing what's in the basement of your house. Like
I don't know.
Like do you?
Because I'm
double check
everything in the house. I'm pretty sure Don was probably the main person who owned the house, so he knew where everything was at, and he probably always tried to prevent them from going downstairs.
Because he was controlling. So we fast forward, this like towards the end of the movie.
So all the like year 20 maybe.
We see all the kids are outside having fun, throwing frisbee and balls around, and that's when we see Sarah on the porch with her mom. The dad is locked up at this point, and Sarah she also meets up with Chris. And he apologized to her, and then we see them ride off in the sun on his motorcycle.
So kind of had like a little good ending, even though it was tragic through the whole movie.
And I just want to say that it's just so sad that this actually happened to a person.
Because they had like a real story. If you want to check that out,
it's a few podcasts and that's out there that's actually us the real story of Elizabeth Fritzl, and
because I'm pretty sure the movie wasn't like all the way accurate in terms of what the actual story was. I'm pretty sure they just did like loosely based on a real person.
I felt like it definitely got the point out there to be
somebody being trapped in the basement
and being abused the whole way. So the kids in the movie, you mentioned that they how they looked at studying their growth.
I can imagine that because you don't get the proper health, like food. You in the dark in a basement, basically. Of course it's gonna stunt your growth.
So just our final thoughts on the movie. I thought it depicted well of abuse.
Each person was
you felt for it was great acting. Like you felt for each character, especially Sarah.
I was invested in the movie.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna put like a hotline for anyone who's dealing with sexual, physical abuse. Kind of like the hotline they used at the end of the movie that you guys could call if you need help out there. But that's all about.
Okay, that's our review of Girl in the Basement. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out our other videos on the channel. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and comment if you would like. And thank you so much for listening. Bye.